Hello everyone, Stock Picks by Tim back at you here, and I'm actually going to go over a new stock on this channel we haven't talked about. As you can see the Gryphon back here, we're going to be talking about Gryphon Digital and the merger happening with Any, that's the ticker symbol, and the company is 3D Sphere, ticker Any, and I'm going to go over the executives on the team. I'm going to go over quickly just the investor presentation, not the whole thing. I'm going to also leave links for that, as well as leaving a clip by Brittany Kaiser, who's the executive chair of Gryphon Digital, and she was also at the DMC Digital Mining Conference, as well as Zach Bradford. I showed you guys that in a previous video. I might leave a link below for that as well. But we're going to get into this. I'm going to also bring up the merger, and as well, I will be bringing up the miners that they're acquiring and the deal that's going to go on here coming forward. And starting off here, we are at gryphondigitalmining.com, and I will show you guys just a few things here. Their mission statement is create the world's largest fully integrated pure play Bitcoin miner with a zero carbon footprint. And that's their mission. That is not currently what they're technically doing, because they are the first carbon negative miner with the acquisition of 500,000 carbon offset credits. So they are not currently carbon free, they are buying offset credits. So they have an operating break-even cost of $4,000 per Bitcoin and have secured 900 megawatts of capacity at launch, and LOI, letter of intent, to develop up to 30 gigawatts of electricity. And when you look here, they have options to acquire up to 220,000 state-of-the-art miners, and I will go over this here in a second. They have already exercised the option for 60,000, with delivery starting in November 2021. Combined with Gryphon's order, the combined company could have up to 21.5 exahash of mining power, which would rank it as the largest known miner in the world. And you guys got to keep this on your radar, because look here, our CEO was previously the CFO of Riot Blockchain, which people regard Riot and Mara as two of the biggest Bitcoin miners in the space. And another thing worth mentioning here is here's Brittany Kaiser, who I'm going to show a clip of here later. And I'll leave this up here for you guys. We also have other folks here as well. The CEO and COO of Riot Blockchain. So we've got two executives here from Riot Blockchain. Very good sign. I really like the sign of that. And board of directors as well. Seem like they have quite a nice resume. But I will leave a link below with all this. But definitely some interesting slides here. I will leave a link below. Now here's the agreement, which includes the rights but not the obligation to secure up to 220,000 miners on pre-negotiated terms, and a lease for a 200,000 square foot carbon neutral facility for Bitcoin mining. And they have fully assumed, out of the 220,000, they fully assumed and executed the first agreement directly with the manufacturer for the purchase up to 60,000 Bitcoin miners, with deliveries to commence in November 2021. Now this will give Sphere 3D 5.7 exahash of computing power. Keep in mind that this is working on a 10-month process. Okay, so they're not getting all 60,000 right away. They're going to be getting 6,000 over the next 10 months. If all contracts are executed, Sphere 3D will have 21.5 exahash of computing power, and upon assignment of the contracts, the company will issue an aggregate of 4,500,000 commons to Hertford advisors. Okay, so it looks like there will be some dilution here, so be aware of that. And this is expected to close, the whole merger is expected to close in the fourth quarter of 2021. So we're talking October to December. Be on the lookout, guys. I bet you there will be a little bit of hype coming closer to the merger, maybe a sell-off afterwards, depending on what we do coming up to the merger. As in, if we come up to the merger and there doesn't seem to be a lot of piling in, it might run up afterwards. Or if there's a lot of hype beforehand, as in before the merger, we might see a sell-off after the fact. Now also checking into the actual stock, we're currently at a price of 638, closed after hours at 632. Had a nice little spike coming up into after hours. Now looking at the market cap, we are at a $375 million market cap, so this thing has a lot of room to move. Once people start piling some money in here, I see this moving very, very quickly. It is a very small cap. And I also wanted to show you here that that Sphere isn't the only ones making acquisitions of miners. We also have Gryphon working on purchasing 7,200 for the purchase price of 48 million. And now this isn't all in one time. This is going to be 600 miners every month. And they are the latest model from Bitmain. Just from these 7,200 machines, they would be among the 15 largest Bitcoin miners worldwide. But I will leave links for all the sites that I check out here so you guys can look at it yourself. Maybe there's something I might have missed. I'd be more than happy if you guys left a comment and mentioned something that I'm missing, what you think about any stock. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed this quick little video. Is any on your radar, guys? I haven't really known anything about it until I actually watched the digital mining conference. I went through after I watched the Zach Bradford part and watched through everybody else's, and this one kind of stuck out to me. Just being that it's such a small cap, being that they have very high ambitions, seeing that their executive team was previously with Riot. We have 2 people from Riot. Just good signs here. I really like the scene of it, although trust me, I could be missing something here, but I will roll that clip with Brittany Kaiser. And thanks again, guys. Hope you have a great night.
My name is Brittany Kaiser. I'm the executive chair of the board for Gryphon Digital Mining. And I've actually spent most of the past 4 years specifically engaging in legislative and regulatory initiatives in the blockchain industry, helping to talk to all of our policymakers about why the digital asset industry is so important. Why does trust and encryption and transparency and digital asset ownership, why does that matter? Why is it so important for our future that we actually have sensible regulation? And somehow, it wasn't until this year that all of a sudden the energy conversation comes to the forefront, or really comes to a head, I would say, where not really a day goes by that you don't see an article about the Bitcoin network taking up more energy than name your favorite country. And while a variety of those articles are filled with inaccuracies and filled with false information, there obviously is a truth to this, which is that we are a digital asset industry, and building large-scale infrastructure and electricity usage is essential to our business and to the furthering of this industry. It's estimated that right now the crypto industry consumes between 85 and 150 terawatt hours per year. So if that is where we are at right now, what does the future look like? We are definitely at the beginning of mass adoption. Obviously, all of us in this room might have been already adopted into the industry for over a decade. But for those that haven't, what about the rest of the world that has not yet held their first amount of Bitcoin or any other digital asset? If we are going to build the future of this industry, we have to accept and acknowledge and be able to make change by being a part of that rising demand to make the crypto industry green. So whether or not you agree with the Elon Musks and the Kevin O'Learys and how they are addressing the problem, they are lending their voice to what is certainly one of the most important issues that all of us in this room should be working together to tackle. And that is, how do we make sure that we are building in a sustainable way? How do we make sure that not just the crypto industry is becoming more green, but that we can actually incentivize the building of renewables? So if this is where we are at right now, how are we incentivizing that change? And what I really mean is specifically incentivizing the move away from fossil fuels and into renewable and carbon neutral energies. So this is something that might help land the plane a little bit, which is that if we're consuming around 85 to 150 terawatt hours per year, the entire global market for international renewable energy certificates around the globe is only around 30 terawatt hours per year. Think about that for a second. A small percentage of that entire market at the moment is so much smaller than where our industry is at today, which I still see as really the tip of the iceberg. So what we should be aiming to do is to make crypto a source of renewable energy demand, perhaps the largest and fastest growing source of renewable energy demand in the world. So as I said, I represent Gryphon Digital Mining, and we are an 100% renewable Bitcoin miner and also digital asset producer as we diversify. Our original founding goal and mission statement was to create the world's largest fully integrated pure-play Bitcoin miner with a zero carbon footprint. And we're lucky enough to say that in partnership with our pending merger partner, Sphere 3D, we have actually managed to become carbon negative. So what I mean by that is we do not produce carbon in any of our operations since we are 100% renewable, but we have invested in 500,000 carbon credits that allow us to offset the delivery of our machines from abroad, the flying of our executives to conferences like this, and any other carbon-producing operations are going to be offset for at least probably the next 5 to 10 years to come with the investment that we've already made. But we don't actually believe that that's enough. So one of the first things that we did as a company publicly was to join the Crypto Climate Accord. If you guys are not familiar with the Crypto Climate Accord, I'm going to go a little bit more into that, but we became one of the first signatories of that agreement in order to start moving towards our ESG goals of being transparent, accountable, taking ownership of our place in the industry and wider society at large, and making sure that we can prove our sustainability. So all signatories of the Crypto Climate Accord have promised that they would have net zero emissions by 2030. We as Gryphon Digital Mining are already there, and we are also here to support other miners that are interested in doing the same. We also specifically, which I'm really excited to talk to you about today, are helping develop different technologies that would allow you to verify decarbonization and use best practices in order to prove that transparently. So the Crypto Climate Accord has over 60 signatories today, and I believe over 180 supporters around the world that are part of the crypto industry, not just mining in general. And all of these supporters have agreed that we would help decarbonize the entire industry by 2040. So developing standards, tools, and technologies that would allow anyone in the industry to use open source protocols in order to do this and help verify that adoption towards that 100% renewable status. So I'm very excited to announce today that the founders of the Crypto Climate Accord, nonprofit Energy Web, are partnering with us at Gryphon Digital Mining in order to do the first pilot for what we're calling Proof of Green. And that is in order to test and adopt what can become a green hash rate solution. And what we mean by that is the actual ability to verify at the energy supplier level that through decentralized IDs attached to all of our machines, that each of those machines is plugged into an 100% renewable source, and all of the hashing power that is coming from our data centers is 100% renewable. And that will become an open source tool developed by Energy Web that anyone would be able to see. And it would be in a larger scale set of tools that are going to be available for the entire industry and being built in collaboration with anyone in the industry that wishes to take part. So everything from tools for miners, for crypto exchanges and platforms, for investors and individual hodlers of digital assets. There will be everything from proof of green verifications, digitized renewables and carbon offset procurement platforms, as well as ways to calculate your energy usage and your ESG impacts and goals. We believe that this should be easy to access, and where a lot of this technology doesn't exist at the moment, that we would make it as easy to use as possible, so that it's very, very easy to start making sure that you are not only hitting your own goals, but that you can help the industry at large start to become more green. So I have always believed that digital assets can solve a lot of the world's greatest problems. So our Proof of Green pilot study, we are actually doing that in time to present at the COP26 conference this year, which is taking place in Glasgow, Scotland, on the first week of November, actually. So we're moving as quickly as we can. And that original proof of concept is to show a lot of the most important leaders around the world that our industry, us as miners, us as crypto nerds, us as blockchain technology enthusiasts, that our entire industry is becoming responsible more quickly than any other industry around the world. That's what we are seeking to achieve. The reason that every single day we're seeing a new article that is attacking our industry is because they have the ability to attack it right now. But when we can prove that we are quickly, if not already, one of the most renewable-driven industries on the planet, I think it's a lot easier for us to start to see brighter headlines. So a concept that I wanted to share with you that was actually thought of by my partner, Matt McKibben. He wrote about this a couple years ago, a concept called Satoshi's second gift, which is that besides Bitcoin, the most important second thing that we could gain from Satoshi is the idea that Bitcoin could become the most powerful bounty system around the world for the development of renewables. And that's actually the opportunity that we are looking at today, where a now multi-trillion-dollar industry that is at the beginning of its growth curve can be plowing not just billions, but trillions of dollars in the years to come into the development of large-scale renewable facilities. So together, we have just an incredible, unrivaled opportunity right now to make crypto green and to be able to do it in record time. And with new tools that we are helping develop for proof of green, we are hoping that we're setting an example for other sectors to follow. That everything that we're doing here as an industry, that everyone here in this room can be a part of something that impactful, that although we are new in consideration of other industries, that we can be one of the first industries in the world to be completely sustainable. And I'll end with what is always my favorite quote from the late, great Dr. Stephen Hawking, which is that he used to say, technology will allow us to live in luxurious leisure, that we can design technology solutions that are specifically there to incentivize a better world and a better future. And I hope that you will all be on that journey with me and with us together.